If I make $400,000 a year and you make $50,000 a year and you can run this household, it don't matter who's bringing home. It's not your capability to provide. Your value is, to me,
Preach.
your capability to keep me safe, protect, to run.
The streets is not only watching, but they talking now.
All right, we back at it, baby. The streets is talking. You know what it is. The shortest damn man on the radio, the 5 for the Kyle Santillion. I'm in the building.
Uptown Tone, Uptown Zone.
Hey, and I'm Khalea, aka Coolia.
Oh,
The cool one.
The cool.
the cool one. This is for the cool in you.
Exactly.
What y'all drinking? What y'all on tonight?
Who going first?
We know what Kyle's drinking, man.
You know what I'm on.
I guess at this point we know
I
what
got
I'm
the
drinking
VSOP
too.
tonight.
I got something you ain't never heard of.
You on the makers? Okay.
It's
All right.
special. Tap it up, man. Tap the
Tap
bottom.
it up. Tap it up. Tap it up. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna need this for tonight.
Man, come on already with it. You know what I mean? It's been a hell of a week.
Oh, hell of a week on Wednesday.
Right. Facts. Before we get into it, man, how y'all feeling? Tell me what's good with you.
I'm good, man. Like I've been saying lately, the last couple pods, staying positive, staying motivated, definitely inspired by a lot I see out here, if you could believe that. And just, you know what I mean, just trying to keep trekking forward, man. I can't complain, no complaints. Even though I'm gonna complain all night, but no, no, and I'll say no individual complaints. I have no individual complaints.
What about you, Khalea?
I'm good, keeping my head up. Just been working and ripping and running and trying not to pay attention to what's going on out there. That's my strategy.
That's your strategy. That's my strategy. Yo, I feel the same way because it's definitely draining. And you know, with my job, it's like I gotta talk about this stuff. Like we'll be dedicating like hours to this stuff on the air. So it's kind of like, I was just joking before we even got started that I'm gonna take a mental day tomorrow. Not a mental day. What'd you call it?
A mental health day.
Oh yeah, mental. You did call it a mental health. A mental health day. Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? It's just a lot, man. So I don't know. I'll put it on you, Tone. Where you want to start first, bro?
I guess with the obvious, man, we got to start with the Derek Chauvin trial has come to a close. It's come to a cease.
Yes.
And I guess for the first time in recent years, for the first time in a long time, we receive what is presumably justice. I guess not a fucked up. I'll say not a fucked up verdict. That's what I'll say. I won't say
Right.
justice, but we didn't. It wasn't blatantly fucked up this time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Just off the bat, you know what I mean, with the second degree murder, I feel like where we live again, it's the what we had to cop out to. It's like, all right, with the way that the laws are written, this is what if we're gonna get him on anything, it's the second degree murder, even though we won it first. It's kind of hard to prove without a shadow of a doubt that he had premeditated going into that site that he was going to murder, even though us looking at him for 8 minutes, I like to think that at somewhere between that 8 minute mark, it fucking went from second degree to first. That's just me. But yeah, the verdict came down. He was guilty on all accounts. So now we're waiting on sentencing. Of course, he's probably going to appeal. Um, I don't know, man. Just it's mixed emotions. We'll get into the second half of that, but I'll just, you know what I mean, let you guys get your thoughts out about the actual trial that went on or that closed yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, you know, same here, man. I heard it described as I know a lot of people were celebrating, but it's kind of like, I mean, celebrating. Yeah, we should be happy with where we are at the moment. Celebrating might be kind of tough of a word. I heard it described as, you know, you're happy when somebody owes you money and they give you your money back. They didn't really do you any favors, but you know what I'm saying? You got the money back that you were supposed to get back in the first place. I feel the same way. And in terms of justice, I mean, justice will really see, I think, when it comes down to the sentencing, whether or not they do the right thing. You know what I mean? So, you know, the whole thing is not done yet. The process is not done yet. And then real justice, if there is such a thing, I think would come in the form of, will this spark any changes in how things are done moving forward? You know what I mean? But it's a good starting point. You know what I mean? I think that's what a lot of people are at least happy with, that it's a good starting point. And the fact that we at least got these charges, at the very least, charges found guilty, which is something that we very rarely do, like you mentioned earlier, you know, Khalea?
Yeah, I don't know if I think it's justice. I've been seeing a lot of people say it's accountability, and I'm here for the accountability because
Right.
nobody in history has been held accountable. But it's kind of like we're so used to getting nothing that
Right.
people are really rejoicing in the smallest scrap. That
Right.
man murdered somebody
Right.
broad daylight, and we watched it 100 times, and we're really excited that he was held accountable for it. That's crazy. We're so used to nothing that
Right.
Yeah.
we're carrying on like the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
No, absolutely agree. You mentioned something a second ago, Tone, and I hope it doesn't go back to this, man. But the fact that they could consider appealing, that whole nonsense with Maxine Waters because she said whatever she said in the street. How they try to use that and say, oh, well, that might be grounds for an appeal. You know what I mean? The jury could be biased because of what she said. If anybody knows about how the jury is secluded from the press, they wouldn't even have heard what she said anyway. So that's bullshit. You know what I
Which
mean? From the door.
I'm secluded from the press.
Maxine Waters basically was in the street. You know, she was talking to people and, rallying people up and saying that, look, man, we got to keep the pressure on. We need change. They got to do the right thing. There's going to be consequences and things keep continuing to go the way they go. Whatever. I'm paraphrasing.
Right.
Hmm.
Right. But this defense lawyer for Derek Chauvin tried to say, see, her comments in the press are affecting this trial. Therefore, that could be grounds for a mistrial. And then the judge said, well, you may have grounds for appeal. I'm like, how? The jury didn't hear that shit. If they was doing what they supposed to be doing, they wouldn't hear anything that's going on in the press.
Right.
So
So
let me get
how?
somebody says, do your job.
What
And
they,
that's
what they were trying to
and
say
that's
was
grounds
because
for a
she was
mistrial.
making what they was trying to say was she was saying that if they don't bring back the right verdict, fuck up the streets. That's not
Mm,
what she said, but that's what they was that's what they was trying to put on her, right?
that's not
I'm
even in the trial. That's
paraphrasing.
a whole
Right.
different entity. I can say whatever I want to say outside the courtroom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a
And
reach.
I
it
thought
just
so
goes
too.
to show you the slick slide and just the lengths of any little thread that they can grab onto or hold on to you know what I mean? To just not just say, yeah, this was fucked up, yeah, this was wrong. We gonna take this and we gonna eat this and we just gonna sit down for once. Like that and I think that I guess us as black people, we be kind of wanting that too. You know what I mean? Because like you said, we've gone through so much, we've eaten so many plates of shit. It's like they won't even eat it. Like it's just they'll still scream to the mountains that you know what I mean that something went wrong, somebody was against them, and it's just man, just sit your ass down for
Yeah.
once. Like
Start looking at themselves. Like if he can be held accountable, now I can't get away with nothing.
Right.
Like people been getting away with literally getting away with murder for years.
Facts. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now they gotta adjust their whole approach because you can't just sneak one in there on anybody no more.
Right.
Allegedly.
And then that brings us to the case that was happening literally while we were waiting for the verdict to come out. The 15-year-old in Ohio, Micaiah Bryant shot, you know what I'm saying, by a police officer in that situation. And it's really fucking me up at like how many people are on the cop's side in that situation. Like that's really driving me crazy, man. Black people as well. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
I guess for anybody that's watching that might not know the whole story, because I think some people don't even really realize they're saying that Makai was 15 years old, living in a foster home.
hmm
Right, a group of people came to her house threatening to beat her up, jump her, whatever the case may be. She called the police. She called her father, and she called her grandmother. By the time the police and them got there, the police they was there. You know what I mean? So even with her having a knife, if somebody comes to your house and they're going to jump you, aren't you still in a position of self defense?
Yeah.
yeah,
Shouldn't you still be allowed that? You know what I mean? And then of course the cop shows up. She does have the knife, but the first thing he does is fire a shot and kill her. No, excuse me, fire four shots and kill her. Right, fire four shots
in the
and kill
chest,
her.
four lethal
Yeah,
shots, four
yeah,
lethal shots, four
right. And I'm like,
lethal shots.
why does it always go right to that? Like you don't got a tool belt like Batman with a bunch of other shit on it that you could use
Yeah,
as non-lethal,
I mean, so they can
right?
say you grabbed the wrong thing. That's the only reason that taser's there. they
Right.
they could have tased her.
The
They
crazy
could have
thing
done. Go ahead.
The crazy thing about it is I actually saw the video by accident, didn't want to see it. The murder porn is ridiculous at this point in time in 2021.
It is.
I can't stand it. It's stomach turning, gut wrenching. Um, but after which, when I seen how the situation went down, man, I just went to YouTube for at least 30 to 45 minutes and just watched basic bare hand defenses against knife attacks. and all the people who were like attacking the trainer with the knife were like trained assassins or whatever, what have you, with knives. They knew what they were doing with the knife. You know what I'm saying? And these guys were still showing you how to disengage, how to even evade just getting stabbed or anything, even if it's for a split second, to evade death or to, you know what I'm saying, de-escalate a situation, as I thought police were supposed to do. I thought this was
Right.
part of their training. You know what I'm saying? So for me to look at as many of those videos as they were, and I understand that they're training videos, it's not live action. You know what I'm saying? But I did go and look at a couple of live action videos. But maybe they were a little strenuous. You know what I'm saying? Both sides were, what have you. What I'm trying to do is just trying to paint a picture of that going for the gun gotta be the last resort. It can't be the first. It can't be
Right.
the first. Like, there's so
Right.
many things that you could have done. Like, like I think even a stab or a cut of any kind, even if we're risking that, because a lot of people are saying that, you know what I mean? Like, oh, she was coming with a knife. He had to do something. Even if she's coming with a knife, he's coming on the scene fully uniformed up with a vest and everything. Like, I thought that that's what the vest was for. You
Right.
know what I mean? Even if you have to evade what she's doing because she's not trained with a knife, and that's the point that I was really trying to make with saying the videos that I was watching. This is a 15-year-old girl we're talking about in distress. I don't think she's about to be out here and carve nothing up for real. If you come on the scene and you put that training forth that you supposedly had, allegedly had, or supposed to have.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right. I totally agree. That the biggest point that you made in my eyes is that's supposed to be the last resort. That's supposed to be the last resort, not the first.
Right.
so I'm just at a loss of words, and just the timing of it all is always the timing of it that's important, because I think that's the most important thing we got here. You know what I mean? It's time, how we gauge things and how much of it we have in totality. But just the timing of it, you know what I mean? No later than, or like, damn near simultaneous with the verdict is
Right.
coming out of Chauvin, coming out with Chauvin. Now you have this. It's like once we feel like our feelings, and I know, like I said, that didn't solve the Chauvin case, didn't solve anything. It's nothing to celebrate about. But once you feel like you got a breath, or you could breathe a little bit, in the same instance, it was taken right back away from you.
Yeah,
Right.
no question.
Every
You can say
time.
And
Khalea.
No, it's just
and
every time. Every time we
Yeah.
get a little bit like two steps forward, or what is it? One step forward, two steps back.
mm-hmm.
Right.
Like it's it's almost by design. Like,
Yeah,
what can we
it
Yeah.
is
do to
that way.
yeah.
Even with that being said, today there was a black man in North Carolina that was shot and killed by the police. Father of 10. I don't really know all the details to get into the whole story, so I don't want to, misquote anything that actually happened. The only thing I do know that I read in the paper was that he was unarmed. And supposedly he had gotten his car to drive away. They shot his car up.
Yeah, why are y'all chasing suspects
Got
or
fucking
alleged
Dukes of
suspects?
Hazards out here, man.
Right.
The fuck?
Feel threatened, so I'm gonna follow behind you. That makes zero sense whatsoever.
Right.
So scared that when he ran, I followed him.
You're the
Like,
Yeah.
aggressor.
yeah, that
Right.
don't make
Yeah, man.
I don't know how much y'all talked about this story where y'all are, but here in Chicago too, one of the crazy stories to add to all the trauma going into this week was 7-year-old girl was killed in McDonald's on Sunday. Do y'all know anything about that?
mm-mm.
Mm.
All right, so boom. So I'll give you what happened, and then then I'll unroll the backstory as we learned it. So, 4:30 in the afternoon, Sunday, McDonald's on the West Side. Probably about, I don't know, 7-8 minutes from where I live or whatever. The father was in the drive-through. His daughter was in the back seat. A car rolls up. Two other guys get out of their car, shoot up the car. Killed the girl in the back. Father is still in critical or serious in the hospital right now. And they was really trying to shoot him up. Like they shot it up. It was like 45 shell casings out there, automatic rifle. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Like, yeah, they was trying to get him.
Only
So
killed the girl.
the 7-year-old, the police got on the scene before the ambulance even got there. The police tried to rush the 7-year-old to the hospital. They pronounced her dead at the hospital. There was just no saving her. So now the backstory is like, damn, everybody was trying to figure out, well, why did that happen? You know what I'm saying? This doesn't sound like it was random. You know what I mean? What was going on? Backstory, if you go on World Star, I just got shared this video today. Go on World Star, the father who was driving the car to McDonald's has a video of him pissing on, allegedly, let me say allegedly because it's on World Star, a video of him and some of his homies pissing on the graves of their quote unquote ops. So now what it looks like is, obviously the guys he disrespected called him in the McDonald's, shot up the car, killed his daughter.
Right.
So that's, on top of everything else, I came in to work Monday morning dealing with that. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, the Derek Chauvin, and then, of course, the 15-year-old and everything else that's going on. So it's just been a tough week just dealing with all of that. Of course, man, people are just saying like, here we go again with the violence against ourselves. And the bigger conversation was like, damn, bro, like if you was really into it like that on the street level, why was you feeling like it was so sweet for you to be out and about and not protecting your daughter? You shouldn't even have had her with you if you was on it like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all have any thoughts on it, but I'm just sharing with y'all some of the other stuff that was going on.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's a lot for us. I feel like it's two different instances,
Yeah.
but I also feel like it's the we all as a community feel the blows at the same time simultaneously. You know what I mean? One of the main things that we do as human beings is learn how to decompartment or how to compartmentalize things.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I feel like that pain is, and that's what makes it kind of even worse. Because if it was all this pain coming, and you could see, it's like the pain's coming from here, pain's coming from there. It's like we got all of these things to deal with. We definitely got issues to deal with ourselves, and we have issues, outside issues coming at us. I don't mix the two. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think they're
I mean,
two different conversations.
it's all
Yeah,
Yeah, they
rooted
are.
in the same thing, though. I mean, it's two different conversations, but it's all rooted in the same thing. Like the
absolutely. It's
Yeah.
all
reason
very
that
much
we
so.
don't value our own lives is because we've been taught that our own lives
Facts.
are not valuable. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Facts.
The
Facts.
first thing I
Facts.
thought, like, how are your feelings? I know it's disrespectful. Okay, cool. You peed on somebody dead who can't tell no difference. It's
Mhm.
disrespectful and it's ignorant, but like, why are you so sensitive? Why is that a death sentence?
Yeah.
Like,
I
how
get
do
it.
Yeah.
yeah, we went from 0 to 100. I felt
Yeah.
disrespected. You gotta die. Like what? Like that's really extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
you hit it on the nose, Leah, and it's internal. A lot of it starts internally. It's internally how we view, how we feel when we look in the mirror, when we look around at our surroundings and things of that nature. Um, our surroundings is also that also comes into play. Uh,
Yep.
it's a nuanced conversation, man. But like you said, the pain is all the same, and that's what it is. The pain is all the same. And when you talk to anybody who looks like you or me or your brother, it's just the same story. And somewhere somehow, I mean, hopefully through fucking platforms like, you know what I mean, streets is watching and getting it out there and getting our feelings out here, because we just use um these current events and these things to really just open up a conversation to get our feelings out, because you know what I mean, we don't really mean to beat a dead horse.
Right.
CNN's doing it, Fox is doing it, ABC, I
Right.
mean everybody's
Right.
getting a piece of it. We're not here to do that. We're here to give the, I mean, the real our feelings on it. You know what I mean? This
No
is the
doubt.
streets feeling. It's
And
a
to
real
that,
somber day. Yeah, I mean, usually we in here, I mean, we turned and everything, but you feel like we being the voice of the streets, and it's somber. It's somber. If
yeah.
you go around the streets, I'm in Philly, Kyle's in Chicago, Khalea's in Atlanta. Like I'm pretty sure the streets in those three in places are the same right now. It's real somber,
Right.
and
Right.
Yeah.
and stretches further to all the
Right.
streets and all the hoods. So
I'll be a little bit confused sometimes, man, because a lot of times when we talk about, the story I just told y'all, and then, somebody that understands it, be like, yo, all of this does stem from white supremacy in one way or another. It goes
yep,
back to that. And
yep,
it boggles my mind when other black people are like, no, we not, everything ain't just going to be white supremacy. Well, it is, like,
yeah,
because everything
yeah,
that happens, the easiest path back to white supremacy is to always ask the question, why? You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, why were they beefing on the street? Well, the circumstances created a mindset. You know what I'm saying? Okay, well, why were those circumstances that way? Well, if we're just talking about real estate, we're forced to live here. They're allowed to live there. Okay,
Right.
well, why is that? Well, the laws are written this way. Okay, well, why were the laws written that way? Well, because these people in charge and they feel like that's how it's to go and you shouldn't have nothing. Well, why do they feel that way? Well, because white supremacy. That's why.
Because
you know, you know what I mean? So all
right,
you to get back to it, all you have to
right.
do is say
Which
why,
if
and it's going to lead
which
you
if you
back to
don't
that
like
every
that
time.
word, which if you don't like that word, we can educate you on slavery and the transatlantic trade and all of
Right.
that. You know what I mean? the
Right.
transatlantic slave trade, and those words are kind of big, and that lesson is kind of strenuous. We know you don't want to go there, so we just summate that shit to white supremacy. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Problem,
You
problem
don't like it, change it. Fucking
Right.
is
change that shit. Like,
Right.
those of us that feel like, why does it always come back to that? Like they don't even realize that they're like a third tier product of it. So you can't see
right,
outside of it because your mind is like, you are exactly what they created.
right,
Yes.
So of
right.
course
Yeah.
you don't understand it. And of course you're saying, why does it come back to that? You can't even see it. You're so deep in it.
Yeah, you
It's
are the
like the drug
vision.
dealer that's 3 layers removed from the streets.
Right, 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 right.
He's still the plug. He's still putting it out there.
Right.
Craziness, man. But yeah,
Yeah,
man,
man.
just want to say, definitely to George Floyd's family, prayers and power. I hope that you find some kind of solace. Definitely not. The fight is still on. It's not over. Like I said, we're still waiting for sentencing. I'm sure whether it's grounds for it or not, there's going to be an appeal. For Micaiah Bryant, family, friends, black people all around, brown
Yeah.
people all around, and just people all around the world. Anybody whose eyes have seen that, anybody whose eyes have read those articles, prayers, power, condolences to you. And let's just continue to fight, continue to figure this thing out, man. I've seen some good things, some
Yeah.
better things than I've seen in the past since I've been here on this planet. It's only been 36 years, 37. So just one of
And I'm
those
at
moments, man. We got to speak on the shit. Yeah, we got to speak on
yeah.
the shit. We got to
And
speak on it.
I'm gonna add her prayers up for 7-year-old Jaslyn Adams too, man. She
Yes,
should have never been in that
absolutely.
situation at all, man.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying?
Because the mood in the streets is crazy too, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. All right, let's get into some more lighthearted shit, man. We talked about this on text earlier, Tone. You hit me up. I didn't get a chance to see it last night. I talked to Khalea earlier today too. She was like, "Yeah, I thought you'd have been watching Versus, but I had to hold something out in the street." But I was like, they gotta have the replay. It gotta be on YouTube. It
Right.
gotta be on something. So I went to Triller today and I watched Red and Meth do Versus last night. And I'm in the crib lit, and my kids are looking at me like I'm absolutely fucking nuts. But
Right.
I
Hold
I
on.
had
Hold
a
on.
good time today by myself.
Hold on. I got it.
I had a great
Oh,
time today.
I wanted to be a fly on the wall in your room the whole night. I was like, I know Kyle going crazy. He don't like
Right. That's yo.
the words.
You know what?
Kyle going crazy. I look
Uh,
on Instagram. It's somebody up on the stage with a mic. I'm like, oh,
They kept saying somebody in the background kept well, Redman first of all kept saying, but his DJ too, whoever was in there kept saying, and you know Jersey in the fucking building. I'm like, man, I
yeah,
know Kyle. Every time they say, I said, I know Kyle was watching this, man.
yeah. I
But
was
yeah,
I
man, I
was
had to
watching today. It was great. Go ahead. What
I
you
had
want
to
to
go
say?
get my grab my, yesterday was 420, it's 421 now, so it's Suedo. You know what I mean? But that's what the whole Red and Meth versus was scheduled around was the
Right.
420 holiday. If you don't know, if you're not in the know, it is the official marijuana smokers holiday. It is 420. I don't know the original origin. Some people say 420 was a police code or it was some kind of code on the streets back in the day to talk about something. I don't know. The myth runs deep. But anyway, on 420, which is April 20th at 4:20 p.m., which is a time
Yeah.
we all weed smokers all around the world all alike light up, toke up your favorite strain, your favorite apparatus, and we just give it up. We give it up to Jah, we give it up to the earth, or as we all say in our culture, we put one in the air. So
Hey. So my understanding of the myth is it started with a group of kids that would meet up at 4:20 in the
okay,
afternoon every day. There's
right,
someone I don't
yeah,
know what's right. I'm not claiming that I know what's right.
right,
I'm
but it's
just
a
saying that's
lot of
one of the theories.
right,
Yeah,
right,
that's one of the theories. They used to meet up every day at 4:20, whether it was after school or whatever they was doing, and that's what time they would light up out in
right.
Cali somewhere, right?
Somewhere like that. I know out in the
Yeah.
West Coast because the West Coast has been very progressive in this particular industry since the early 90s, probably the 80s for real, for real. You have your Washingtons, your Seattles, your Californias within there. You have the Bay Area,
Yep.
LA.
Colorado.
All of these people are marijuana friendly. Colorado, excuse me, Oregon, I believe also.
It'll be all 50 states by the time it's all said and done. Because I think
Very
New York,
soon, very
New York
soon,
is
very
added to the
soon,
list this year. Jersey's added to the list this year.
very soon. A lot of places where you would think like, you guys are, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I was about to you lucky I'm on it tonight, man, because I came real serious tonight because of the circumstances. But I was about to segue back into where we just came from and just ask what do you guys think about the whole legalization of marijuana
I
and
was about
and
to ask that
Go ahead. You
too.
start, Khalea. Go ahead.
But listen, I do want to put for everybody watching and the listeners out there, Streets is watching fam. We're gonna put the marker here that we are going to get back into red and meth. I'm not gonna lose sight. We're
Right.
gonna go off kill one time to have some good talk, but we are gonna come back and I'm gonna drop a pin right here for red and meth. But go ahead, Leah.
No, I just think I mean I think it's crazy. What'd you say? Because white supremacy?
Yeah, you already
Right.
know where I was going.
Right.
You already know where I was
That's the
going.
why. The why always goes back to that.
Because they seen the money that was in it. And we
Right.
all locked up for it. So they found their little niche and we could take this thing. Just yeah, the money that could be made from it is it's always about the dollar.
Always.
Always about the dollar. There's money to be made, and there's more money to be made from growing it and selling it than there is from locking us up for it and slaving us out for 2 cents an hour.
Right.
I think it's crazy. It all really comes back to the money, and that's the only reason it's legal.
It's so crazy how in the 90s, man, like people was getting locked up left. I mean, not just the 90s, but I just remember the 90s specifically. People was getting locked up left and right for weed. You know what I'm saying? People were just, trying to hide pounds of weed, this, that, and the third. And at the same time, it always felt like more people smoke weed than smoke cigarettes. It always felt like that. But at the same time, it was like it's so illegal. And now it's just like, all right, well, whatever, let's get this money.
You know
Right.
what the craziest part about it is the reason that it's illegal is not even really because of the weed itself. I feel like that was a byproduct of it. Finding out that people were doing this with it, with the hemp plant, is what it really is. Which is the source of the weed, is the source of a lot of things. Namely, what was the threat to them was paper, as
Mhm.
far as we print on, as we write on, as we make checks with, as we make money with. The hemp was very, 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 very cheap. It grows in abundance, as we see. You can't fucking regulate it. It doesn't go anywhere. It stays around forever and ever and ever. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of stopped them from going and cutting down trees and using that for paper and the things that they were, you know what I mean, cutting down the forest. It once again, colonialism, capitalism, it fucking infringed the hemp plant, infringed on that. Something natural, something that was here before any of us were here, again, interfered with colonialism and capitalism, and they therefore had to make a law to regulate it and outlaw it. So it was really for the many uses of it.
I didn't know
It's
that.
healing
That's good stuff
uses.
right there. Yeah.
Yeah, hemp has healing uses. You know what I mean?
I
We
was gonna
talk about
say
the yeah, we talk about the CBDs and all of that stuff. Well, surely
big pharma.
Pfizer and GlaxoSmithKline and all those people, they can't have the hemp plant around. If that helps in the curing of everything, then all these chemicals and all this shit that we concoct and all of that stuff, we no way we could sell that if people can just go grab the hemp plant. You know what I mean? So it's way, 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 way more than just smoking weed. I think smoking and selling weed was, once they found out they can lock people up and make money off of it that way, I think that was a bystander. And like
Yeah.
Khalea just said and hit on the nose, once you realize you're only making 2 cents a day in jail, and if you actually legalize this shit and let people sell it outright, you can make fucking billions of dollars really, really, really fast for a really, really, really
Hmm.
long time. Um, yeah. But yeah, free the guys though. If you're gonna do that, free the fucking guys.
Exactly. You got, and that's the only thing about it, man. There's
Free
people
the
still
fucking
locked up for
guys.
selling weed. You got to
Right.
let them out. You go,
Free
if
the
that
guys.
becomes legal in
All
your
the
state should be
guys.
letting all
All the
non-violent
guys.
offenders should be out. Yep. Absolutely agree on that one, man.
From since from back when. Free the guys.
Yeah.
If you gonna do that, and if y'all gonna put that shit on fucking, people are buying stocks. That shit is on fucking on NYSE right now. You know what I
Right.
mean? Fuck
Right.
out of
In
here. People gonna be doing that
money
shit.
back.
Go ahead, Leah.
What's it called in court when you like when you get locked up for 20 years, you don't go to work and they give you money for that? What's that called? You know, it's like
Pension
You
or
mean like if you're locked up falsely for 20 years?
yeah, like what is it, retribution or what's it
retribution,
called?
Retribution.
retribution,
Yeah.
yeah, with all
Yeah.
those words, retribution, compensation, all that shit,
Yeah,
man.
I fucked up. Take this money.
yeah.
Right, y'all
Right.
PUA and
Y'all making
PPP,
billions. You stole
yeah.
Right.
50 years
Free
of
the
people's
guys and get them some money. You know what I'm saying?
give them the
Right.
money. Exactly.
PA, I seen y'all just recover 800, damn near 800 million. No,
Right.
800, is it 800 million? 800, no, yeah, 800 million. They recovered damn near 800 million in false PPP. So what the fuck y'all about to do with that?
Mm.
About to make it even falser, if that's a word.
Yeah.
We know how y'all
It is
slick ass
today.
motherfuckers play.
It is
You
today.
know what I mean? Like,
False, sir.
So since we got the weed part out the way, let's bring it back to red and meth.
Got you.
Okay,
Red Meth.
because these were the guys, especially in the 90s, that were known for their participation in the burning of the cannabis. Redman
Especially when it was
even had a
very
song.
especially when it's
Go ahead.
very taboo, man. When it was very, very taboo, I feel like they were really
Yes,
pushing forward, and you know what I mean. With, them along with a lot of people, you got to think about Uncle Snoop. A lot of people push forward, but when I think about East Coast, when I think about the gritty guys who
that's
weren't
right.
really glamorizing it, was just doing it because they was doing it, I think of Red Meth all
That's
day,
right.
every day.
When you go back to Redman's first album called What the Album, he very meticulously and very properly told you how to roll a blunt.
Yes.
You know, and and I want to tell you the name of that song was How to Roll a Blunt. And many people during such time period use that song as instruction material on how to build their own blunt and burn it down back in the day. So yeah, it made perfect sense for them to be the ones to perform on verses on 420 because those were the guys. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
those were
Redman
definitely
and
the
it.
guys.
I think that I think their affection for weed actually was one of the things that built a bond between them that they created over all of these years. You know, they were both on that already. They were both on the same record label. They got put together, but I think a real friendship grew out of that, and I think it really comes from the way they participated in just smoking weed and
Yeah,
just
they got the
being
best
wild dudes.
of all time.
You said
Yeah.
what?
They got the best bromance of all time.
I don't want to agree, but somehow I do.
On the stage like, flap my cape for me, flap my cape.
Right? How High is an all-time classic, cult
I
classic.
love that movie.
Oh man, I think I'm gonna watch it tonight just because we're sitting here talking about it.
I was tripping today because when I was watching Red Meth, I was like, yo, me and Khalea went and saw that in Atlanta together. It was just me and you, wasn't it?
I don't know. Reddit Mac?
Yeah. At the movie theater right by
Oh, the movie. We probably did, yeah.
yeah. I think we went I think it was just me and you and went and saw that movie together.
Steady
And
hot.
what's funny is a part of Versus last night. Raekwon came out and performed Wu Tang Clan Ain't Nothing to Fuck with Red and Meth, and then after that went off, he pressed them both. He said, "We need a new movie from y'all. We need
Yeah.
a new movie from Red and Meth. We don't care how old y'all are. We don't care what y'all doing. We need a new movie from y'all too." So I really appreciate the RZA for pressing them like that on such a grand stage.
Yeah. Just on some hip hop shit real quick. Let's just talk about performance and just how they carry themselves on stage for a moment. You know what I mean? Because they're really energetic. They bring good vibes to the stage. They give you a performance. There's a chemistry there. It's just like when you're watching it and you're watching what they do, you can't help but smile through the whole shit. You know what I'm saying? And I think like a lot of that is lost on, I won't say everybody, obviously, but that shit, a lot of that is lost on a lot of artists today. That showmanship, the fact that when they're saying their rhymes, I can understand every fucking word that they're saying. It's just everything about it. I just really loved, everything that they brought to the stage yesterday, and the energy about it was one of the bigger things that I really tapped into. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
When the Hit
Absolutely, yo.
Squad came out and they did Headbanger, that was it for me. It was over.
That was it for you. He said
Yeah,
that was it for me.
that
That
was
was
it.
send me, man. Send me. That sent me. That's what they say. That's what the kids saying. That sent me. But nah, I think Red and Meth, like Khalea said, it's like the best bromance of all time, man. I think the chemistry, the way that they just feed off of each other, the energy that they have, the natural relationship, you could tell that these are two people who genuinely fuck with each other, man.
Yeah.
Genuinely like being around each other. Um, it was good to see, man. I love this shit because I'm a 90s kid. I spent a good deal of growing up in the 90s. I was born in 84. You know what I'm saying? So I saw the 90s for real. You know what I mean? I know Khalea can attest to that.
Yeah.
But and it just brings so much nostalgia just hearing them, just thinking about where I was at when hearing them songs, thinking about what the vibe was. Um, and one song always comes back to me when I get in that mood period, and that's Wu Tang Clan. Can it be that it was all so simple?
Yeah, hell yeah.
And that's
Yep.
just how I feel, man. Like for me, just that was a time where shit for me was just so simple, man. So to see people like that on a holiday, I know I was rolling up heavy, man. I'm rolling up right now. Just for I mean, I don't normally do it on the show because I try to stay focused, but I mean, for our Suedo 420, man, I'm getting right because we talking about Red Meth, two of the grandfathers of rap period. You know what I mean? Two of the
I wouldn't put
I
him in
would
the
say
grandfather
fathers.
category. Ho, ho,
I
ho,
didn't
ho, ho.
I didn't
Right.
mean to say grandfather.
I felt that for you. Woo.
I didn't mean to say grandfathers. I was going to say forefathers, but I don't even want to say that. I want to say two of the innovators though, two of the great innovators in rap.
I give
Two
him
people who I
innovation.
see a
Yeah.
lot of inspiration in the new artists today. I see a lot of the things they've done, a lot of the things that they fought for, and probably took a lot of ass kickings for. A
Yeah.
lot of people do freely now today. Kind of in the sense of AI and basketball, how he did
Right.
shit. I think Red and Meth did a lot of things as far as the marijuana is concerned, as far as just being them and just being, especially Red. Um,
Yep.
for somebody, I think one of the knocks on Red is that you don't get a lot of the personal from Red. Like when you get a lot of introspective records from a lot of your favorite artists, you get a lot of just what they call just real records. So this is my life and this is my grind. From Red, what you get is rap. This is what I do. What I do is I rap, I tell stories, and I do that shit better than probably about 3% of people on earth, man. So you're
You
gonna
may
get
be.
these.
You know what's funny is I never really that never crossed my mind. Actually, what you said when you said that was kind of a knock on him,
Yeah.
that's never crossed my mind.
Right. Me
I
either until I started getting into these damn pundit shows and shit. And then it's like, huh, he never really did get personal, huh?
but
Yeah,
nah,
you
you're
think?
right. You're probably right. But but the thing that he's so great at is number one, he can rap his ass off.
Yes.
Number two, conceptually, he has a million concepts and takes the
I was about to
lyrics
say
everywhere.
content,
Yeah,
he's the best, bar none.
he's a
Bar none.
storyteller. And I'm gonna put this at the top because I think this really influences who he is as a person and in his rhymes, his sense of humor. His sense of humor is right up there with everything else, yo.
Yep. I
Everything
think
else.
about MF Doom a lot, man. I've listened to a lot of MF Doom, and I think that on a mainstream, because Redman was on the mainstream a little bit more than MF Doom was. But that's what people say a lot about MF Doom. MF Doom calls himself a slapstick rapper. Like he raps slapstick comedy, or he raps so good that he can rap about anything. And I think that that's what you get with Reggie Noble. I think Reggie
Mm,
Noble raps so good that you could just throw stuff and he'll throw it at a wall and it'll stick
mm.
anything. And it's not only that, but it's not just that he's doing it. It's entertaining. He brings you in on it.
Yep.
When you get the visuals of it, it's funny. He has one of the greatest fucking MTV cribs of all time.
Oh my
Like
God.
All time.
of all time. Like I just fuck with Reggie Noble, man. And then when you talk about Meth is just an icon at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like it's nothing really to say about Meth. All you got to do is just hit a Google, hit a Wikipedia search, and everything you want to know about Meth is right
Well,
there.
what's your impression, Khalea, from your
Oh, this
side?
is
Just
not my conversation. I'm such a bad I'm not a connoisseur of music. It's nostalgic for me, like all the songs. I don't know the words, but I was in there like, oh, it feels like being a kid again. I don't know what it is, but I remember this. You know what I mean? I don't really have a. I'm not a connoisseur of rap like y'all.
yeah. But
I
I
know
would say this.
quiet.
But I say this though, Tone, especially when it comes to Meth, man, because his maturation has been crazy too. You know what I
Yes.
mean? To see him like when Meth came out, when Wu came out, they just looked like a bunch of gritty dudes, obviously from the streets. But Meth used to look crazy. Like his first video, he had like contacts that made his whole eye look white. And
The
his
whiteout.
yeah, the white out shit, and his hair would be half braided on this side with messy
Right,
braids,
right,
and then
right.
afro on this side. And everybody's just like, yo, these dudes is wild. Yo, who are these dudes? You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? From him to go there and him to be the one that kind of took it, and now he's acting and he's doing movies and TV shows and doing it well. You know what I mean? Like the maturation of Method Man is definitely something that needs to be spoken on as well, man. He's definitely held it down over the years.
I just saw him in a movie with me and wifey was just watching it. One of the movies that just came out, it was
He
new.
was just in something.
What was
Literally
it?
just in something. Dang, I don't remember. He was
He's
just
on
He
he's
was the
on something
sheriff.
right. What
He
is
was the
it?
sheriff though.
yeah. Oh,
Oh, the one
the
about Philly,
cowboy
about the
movie,
stables.
the Philly
Concrete
State.
The
Cowboys.
Philly stables,
Yep.
the
Yeah.
Cowboys, yeah.
Yeah.
Concrete Cowboys. He was just in that. And he played a hell of a role in that. I liked his role in that.
Yeah, he
Meth's
did.
like I said, Meth's an icon. Meth's an icon at this point, man. He's been on everything that's anything. And he is who he is, man. And just shout out to those guys, man. Just another note. So I've never really been a big. I'm not gonna say I have never been a really big fan, man, because I've supported it and I fuck with verses. I've never really been excited from day one about it, but with this new Triller fucking acquisition and all of that cool shit, I definitely see the difference. It's more of a presentation in the show.
Yeah, the
Even the
production,
artists,
the production value went up. It looks better. The quality,
Absolutely.
the
right?
interact.
But just to give some, I kind of like the seamless just go through and not know what was about to happen. That's where Black Twitter gets his fucking jokes from. We don't want no put together fucking show. Like, you know what I'm
I'm gonna
saying?
tell you,
Like,
I'm gonna give you my one complaint, and I mean it's a slight complaint because overall I do love what they're doing. But more than once, I feel like the DJs are fucking it up.
yes, but that's historical for verses for me. What you call them is at the
But
top of
I'm
that list.
saying like they fucking it
Fab
up on
DJ, Fab
song
DJ
selection
sabotaged Fab's whole fucking verse.
and when they've been doing it these newer platforms, they've been fucking up the vibes.
Yeah,
Huh?
I agree.
You said
I
what?
agree. I said I agree.
He
Fab
said
Oh,
DJ,
he said Fab's DJ sabotage.
Fab DJ been fucking up the whole.
Babs
He's
DJ,
number
yeah.
one. Yeah, Fab's DJ is number one. But the DJs for me has historically been something that's fucked up with verses. The DJ's been fucking up. Outside of a few,
Yeah, and yeah, I'm not feeling that part of it. I mean, I feel like they're sometimes they're messing up the flow. Like we're ready to get into the next song, and we're waiting on the DJ, or the artists are allowing the DJs to pick what songs they're going into at times. And I'm like, why y'all pick this? You know what I'm saying? Like even with yesterday, as much as I love DJ Scratch, the first half of verses, the second half got better. But he was like, yo, this song right here, yo, this is the one I produced for y'all. I'm like, so I ain't never heard that shit. I don't want to hear that.
DJ
So
sabotage.
it's
That's what
like,
he is.
yeah.
DJ fucking sabotage.
Hey, Tom, what beer is that? I seen the victory label.
You got one job. It's a sour monkey, little
Oh, that's my
9.5.
favorite beer. Sour Monkey's my favorite.
Oh yeah, you like that? You get that down in Georgia?
Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta search for it, but it's my favorite.
Oh yeah,
Sour Monkey beer, huh?
Mhm.
yeah, man. Victory Brewing Company, man. I need a motherfucking endorsement because I buy a lot of Victory Brewery. I got some Tart Monkey in there. I got some
I haven't
Golden
tried
Monkey
this.
in
I
there.
like the sour and the golden.
Yeah,
Y'all really like beer like that, huh?
yeah, man.
I got some beer in my
It's
fridge right
acquired taste.
I got some beer in my fridge right now that I got at your parents' crib. It was the only thing in there. It was like Fragensteiner, and I was like, I'll try it. And I was like, I love this beer. So I
You
shot the other day. I got one in there right now. You know what I'm talking
should
about?
know.
That German one.
I think I do. It's a fucking is it
I mean,
flavored?
what do you say?
Is it flavored?
No, it's just a German beer with some dude on the front that looks kind of like Ben Franklin.
Oh, I know that. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. No, Hoffenegger.
No, no, no. It's Skagenfranner or something. I
Yeah,
can.
it's some shit. Yeah, I
It's
know,
good.
but I know once you said Ben Franklin dude was on the front of it, I know exactly what you was talking about though.
That's hilarious, yo.
Yeah,
I don't. It's not that I don't drink beer ever, but I rarely do these days. And when I do, it's more like a chaser than anything
right.
else. You know
You
what I'm
ain't
saying?
This
you
ain't
don't
no
lay out at
chaser
the
beer.
pool or lay. You don't like the beach and you don't lay out at the pool.
Yeah.
So beer is like you're at the grill, Tone. You're on the grill flipping burgers, cooking
Right.
steaks, drinking beer. I'm at the beach or the pool sipping a beer. You don't
Yeah.
really drink beer in the club, so
Right.
And you do
Yeah,
as a
'cause I don't.
chaser. That's
Yeah,
what I'm trying to tell you. You do as a chaser.
yeah,
that's
I
why
don't
you
drink.
don't
Yeah,
drink
yeah,
beer. You
yeah.
don't
Yeah.
have the right environment for beer. That's all. You ain't never been in.
It's a lifestyle thing.
It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
No, but
Well,
sour Monkey is my
we dealt with
favorite.
all the heavy stuff. We dealt with Red and Meth and them. What you got, Khalea? What's going on in your world?
Mm, just trying to get rich. That's all.
Doja coin to the moon. Doja coin to the moon.
I have a I have a question for Khalid though.
Okay.
Because I for one am ecstatic that we have we now have a woman special guest on the pod.
And I'm so proud to be the first woman guest on here.
Yes, the first
I
woman
Ah,
was
guest.
honestly, I was over here getting jealous. Like, when they
The
gonna I don't got nothing to talk about, but have me on.
there you go.
first woman guest on. So a lot of these things that we've been talking about that have been woman related. I just want to get your opinion on two things, namely that come to mind for me in general. One is the Deshaun Watson situation. I don't know if you. I know you're down there. And is Is he from Atlanta?
I don't know. I don't know the whole
I have no
backstory.
idea where he's from.
I watched
Right.
some stuff. I don't really know. I told you my strategy is avoidance.
Right. So like I said, a lot of times these subjects are just a platform for us to get our feelings off about things that have been happening in history. So just that, and I know you're on social media, so I know you've come across one Kevin Samuel.
I was gonna bring him up too. Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
no,
We can
my
start
strategy is avoidance.
You're
Like
not familiar with the Kevin Samuels
I know
situations, though?
he is, but I've never. There are certain things that I just know better. I know my anger. I know
I
my.
know my anger.
I know my intellect. I know my willingness to go down that rabbit hole, and I'm like, you know what? I
I
won't
Let's
was
not do
really
that.
curious to hear what you were gonna say about Kevin Samuels, though.
brief.
Right.
Give me a brief. And I know of him, but give me a. I know about the Derek Jackson thing when I was talking about that, but he's stupid. That's all I can
Kevin
say.
Samuels' whole thing is a lot of these women out here are chasing what he calls a high value man.
Okay.
But these particular women are not worthy of a high value man. And I mean, there's so many different examples, man. I mean, he's got girls call on there, and he's like, "Yo, rate yourself, and then don't say 7." And then they're like, "I feel like I'm 8 or 9." He'd be like, "Ma'am, you're a 6 at best." You know what I mean? Like,
I know this much. This much I know. I can't go down the rabbit hole, but
all right. Here's an example. Here's one I was just listening to the other day. It was this girl on there, and she was just like, "Why do I have to feel like I have to smile?" And
oh,
his whole thing was like, damn, are black men not even worthy of a smile? A smile, ma'am, a smile, a smile. If a black man can't get a smile from a black woman, where's he going? Is he not even worthy of a smile? Yet and
all
still,
those
hold on before we're gonna get your point. And then yet and still, y'all the same one screaming, protect black women, this, that, and the third. Why would he feel obligated to protect the person who feels like he's not even worth a smile on the street? And it probably gets much deeper than that, but I'm just giving you a basic synopsis of how that conversation was wrapped the other day.
whew, smile. I just the entitlement that a woman owes you anything. Like, when has anybody ever walked down the street and been like, smile, Kyle? It doesn't look good on you. Like the thought process that your opinion of what I got going on matters to me so much that you have the audacity to voice that opinion toward me is crazy. Self-centered and is delusional. I got the perfect example, and this is not like male, female, but when we were when we were in Jersey, we were at Shoney's. Some old white man came up to you
Tony's.
and
Me?
said, "Yeah,
Came up to me. Okay.
everybody was at Shoney's. I don't know why. We were all at Shoney's.
I
Some old white
love Shoney's, man.
he
My bad. Go ahead. Tell the story. But Shoney's.
Yeah, I know. Back
put
in the day,
his
Shoney's
hand
was
on
the
your
shit.
shoulder and
Wait. Back up a little bit just because we were. Go ahead. The white man came up.
came up to Kyle. He put his hand on your shoulder and said to you, "I'm just so happy to see that you have your hat on the right way."
I do remember that. And I was like, yo, if you don't get his fucking hand off my shoulder.
How? Not even the hand, the audacity.
Yeah, like who the fuck are you?
Like,
Yeah.
who are you?
I
Who do
would
you?
turn my shit backwards, so I would turn my shit inside out.
That whole thought process that you had in that moment about that man projecting his feelings about whatever he had going on you is how it feels for somebody to tell you to smile. You don't look
I
here.
think that's a little extreme, though.
No, I think it's very real.
I get it. I get it.
How is that extreme?
I mean, I guess I get it. Yeah, I guess it. Well, I'll say this.
You
I
get
guess
it.
I understand. I understand what
You
you're
get it.
saying, but I guess it would depend on whatever the approach is. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like with male female things, a lot of times, and even if the guy's not trying to be disrespectful or he's not trying to, um, I don't know how far he's trying to go and get into your business. Like a lot of times, a guy might be trying to figure out, oh, she's fly, she's cute. How can I spark up a conversation, right? So, which is a little bit different from this white dude telling me that basically he feels like I'm being a good nigga in public.
But most of the time,
You know what I mean? I feel like that's little like, you know what I'm saying? I'm a good nigga in public because I got my hat on the right way. Get the fuck
That's
out of here.
definitely what he was saying.
Right.
Dog.
You know what I mean? Like that's a little
That's
different.
exactly
no,
what he was saying.
dudes
Right.
coming up
That's a
to you and
good
telling
nigga.
you to smile
Right.
is saying, appeal to my sensibilities. Why? For what? You know what? You're not appealing to my sensibilities. Appeal to my sensibilities, please. For
But
what?
but what if, like Kevin Samuel was saying, he's asking you to appeal to his sensibilities because you asking him to protect you? Not me. I'm just saying. I'm just hypothetically saying. If that's because I think that's a good, because that is an argument.
Why is it not in your nature just to want to protect that from which you came?
Yeah,
Why do I have to so what you're saying is if I don't appeal to your sensibilities that I don't deserve your protection? That's crazy.
or he might not know that you need to be protected. You might look like you got shit under control.
As rude as you was to me, you could be that rude to the next man.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like, I
You
kind
might
of get,
agree
I
with
get
that
it,
one.
I
I
get
can't
it, I
argue
get
with
it.
that.
Like I get it in totality, the entitlement, how it feels, but I don't even think I think that we're ignorant as men and such that we're not even looking at it like that. We just want
Right.
some kind of some kind of what do you call
Barometer.
it?
Barometer.
Barometer.
Barometer or
A
some kind
litmus.
of sign that the guard is down. You know what I'm saying? Because
But here's
Right.
the thing: if I am not smiling at you, that is your sign.
yeah, I feel you. Contrary to popular belief, though,
Would you say?
regardless of how black women feel or how we act or how everything goes, y'all are very intimidating to us. Like niggas be scared of y'all. Like so they be wanting to smile and really just to know that shit is okay and it ain't about to go left. Like that's really all niggas is asking for. That it ain't about to go left
And that's all I was trying
around
to say.
them.
Yeah, and I
But I
agree with you. And
also
that's all I was
understand.
trying to say earlier about
Go ahead.
sometimes from the guy's perspective, just like Tone said, it's not that we're trying to impose our will on you. Like I think guys are really trying to, they might really at the very basic minimum level trying to figure out a way, how can I approach somebody that I find interesting?
Okay, so for me, telling me to smile is gonna get you ignored
It might
because
be stupid, but I'm just
that's
saying
not
that
the
the intent is different.
but if your intent is to spark up a conversation and you see that a woman is not smiling, you could just say, "How are you today?" You could genuinely ask the question, and that can determine whether you should even go further into that conversation. But telling me what to do, telling me how to feel is not a good that's not a good segue into any type of conversation.
Do you
Smile. Oh, you know what? You're so right. Thank you. It's
do
never
you
gonna
get mad? Do you
if
do
not
you
for
get
you, I
mad?
would smile. I wouldn't have to say thank you.
That's
Like,
funny.
no.
Do you get mad at the cute guys when they tell you to smile?
I at the cute
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
I,
that's a good question.
yeah.
I'm trying to think of an experience where somebody cute has been like smile.
Damn,
But
the cute
I mean, I
guys.
can see how women could be
The
like,
cute guys know better.
Right.
I can see it happening. Me personally, I'm always on the defense because most of the time when I'm out in public, I'm at work, so I be trying to stay in work mode.
I feel that.
So
Well, that was just one. That was just one example. But
I tried to catch her off guard.
yeah, no, that was a good one. That was good. Because I literally sat down. Listen, I literally sat down with Kevin Samuels and me and Shonda watched the whole episode. It happened to be one that my coworker was a star in that particular day, but that's a side story. And I think that I think the reason why he's popular with guys is whether it's right or wrong, you could debate that if you want. I think the majority of men feel the way that he's expressing. You know what I mean? So I think the people that get mad at him feel like he's going too far. Like the one me and Shonda watched, he was telling this young lady, like, yo, you got to be willing to praise your man. Like, you got to praise your man. Right. And then, I'm watching it with Shonda. She like, praise my man. I mean, I feel like, both you should praise each other. And I'm like, that's fair. That's fair. Praise each other. But a lot of the women, in my opinion, that he's speaking to are the ones that are trying to find these guys that are already prepackaged. Right. You 30, 40 years old and you want a millionaire guy that's going to spoil you, do this, that, and the third. And what he's
Right.
trying to tell these particular women is, what do you bring to the table? Because this man has everything he needs. Why does he want you? You know what I mean? And I think it's really for, in my opinion, it's really for a focused group of women.
I was just
I
about to say it's definitely for a certain demographic.
Yeah.
I think there's a deeper issue, and it's kind of just a conversation that my friends and I talk about. It's kind of just about um like a man, like, and I'm not a man, obviously, so I can't speak, but like a man's perception of preparedness for a relationship, right? So men have the tendency to not take nothing serious, not take nothing serious, not take nothing serious while they get their lives together. And then they look up and they're like, oh, girls only want me for my money. Well, you put yourself in that position because you haven't forged actually like trustworthy relationships with women over the process of building yourself up. So this high value man, go ahead. Go ahead.
Before that man got to that point where he had that money, he already knew that women only wanted guys with money. But go ahead.
That's not true
I'm
though.
I'm broke, baby. I don't know. I'm broke, baby.
And
I
again,
don't.
this is not everybody, but this is the public. This is what we.
No, I feel
I,
you.
and I don't even mean to cut you off because
You're
just
good.
growing up, we always grew up feeling like, yo, these chicks, when we're in high school, the girls want the college guys that can do this, that, and third. When you're in college, the girls want the guys that graduated already that got money. When you're broke, the girls want the guy that can come through with the car. You know, I got a bus pass. Like, so for the majority of guys, we're always dealing with girls that want whatever the next level up is.
Okay.
Majority. Obviously, that's not true for everybody. None of us would ever be in situations. But if you were to just say that in general, this is what we deal with. In general, this is what we deal with. You go to the club, you might be in there having a good time buying a couple drinks at the bar, but the chicks is flocking to the dudes is popping bottles. You know what I mean? It's just the general way that things work. So, and I can go back and like when we're kids, we're like, yo, when I grow up, I'm gonna get a great job. I'm gonna get all the money. I'm gonna get the great crib. I'm gonna get the car so that I can have all the girls. Like that's part of the packaging.
Right, but then when that happens, and then you can have all the girls, and then you don't want one particular girl because you've made it to this point. So you're like, you know what? I can have all the girls.
Right.
That's the
Agreed.
problem.
Agreed that happens.
Agreed. Touche. Touche.
I don't know. I just think that just dating and relationships and just male and female relationships is we're in a bad place as a unit.
Yeah.
As a
Well, that's
unit.
I can see
it's
that.
just I blame that shit on white supremacy
I
too,
was
man.
about to say.
Colonialism, capitalism. A
Absolutely.
lot of
Colorism,
things, yeah, a lot
all
of
that.
things just but in all seriousness, a lot of things come before our human feelings. What we feel initially when we see somebody, when we engage with people, I think it stops. Like we stop ourselves intentionally, and then we go into this. All right, well, the steps say when you're at this point, you should do this, you should do that, because you can't be. You know what I mean? We start doing that shit to ourselves instead of just going with what we naturally feel inside. So,
That's real.
I think we subscribe to really archaic systems of belief too. Like I be
mm,
having these conversations
mm,
all the time. Like,
mm,
the things
mm,
that work for our grandparents and our parents will not work for us
they
today.
don't.
They
That,
don't. You
give us
don't.
an example. Let's stay there for a minute. Give us an example.
I mean, I don't really have an example of what works and just doesn't work, but just even just looking up, like I feel like a child. Not like not I'm irresponsible, not I'm immature, but like where I look at where I'm at right now, and then I look at where our parents were at right now. Like I can't even conceive of having the responsibilities that they have, living the
Right.
Right.
life. They were, no offense, they were old by the time they were our age.
Yeah.
Facts. That is
And
a
that's
fact.
it's just not that's not what's happening now. So I really can't
Yeah.
apply my main like conversation that I've been having for the past 2021 is that our parents were surviving and they taught us how to survive, but we're beyond the mode of we're not okay, we're not totally beyond the mode of survival, but we're beyond survival and we're at a place where we can learn how to thrive
Trying to
and
prosper now.
pursue things that actually make us happy and make us feel good and not just survive. And our parents
Yeah,
were doing
fuck
what they
that.
had to
It's
survive.
it's it's up and it's stuck, dog. Like fuck that. Like no, I feel that 100% though. But I feel like also it's cyclical.
Mm,
Whereas I always look at our parents as the first generations, one of the first generations that was really free and had freedoms to do things and be out here. So with that comes that exact responsibility that you're talking about to put a lot of things that weren't there, um, there. They put a lot of institutions, they put a lot of structure, in place for us that wasn't there before. It was unheard of. You know what I'm saying? Nobody
right.
knew what to do. You were fucking property. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the things that they did, a lot of the things that they strove, they did strove, they strive for. They did home ownership. You know what I mean? A lot of parents have businesses and things of that nature out here. You know what I mean? So I agree. A lot of it was a lot of responsibility, but I believe that they did that so that we didn't have to. Like Hove did that, so hopefully you don't have to go through that. Like
Go
our
through it.
Right.
parents did that so that like they walked so that we could run. You know what I mean? Or they crawled so that we
Exactly.
can walk. We're gonna walk so that our kids can run. You know what I mean? Our kids will run so that their kids can fly. You know what I mean? So
Problem is,
You're both right. And just to add on top of that, because I've always looked at it like this on Tone with you on Ran side of the family, and then with me and Khalea on me mom's side of the family. For us, both of our grandparents started in the projects, right? So
Yep.
they started out in the projects. Ran and them, and what they was with Richard Allen. Me mom and them was in whatever them projects on Art Street in West Philly or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they make it out the projects. They make it out the projects. Now they got houses in West Philly on Locust Street, right? So now, boom. All right. So then for us, all right, boom. Both our parents, they get out the projects. They're from their parents. Now they're in the city. For them, now they move from the city for us over to Jersey. All right. We really still financially kind of in the same situation, but now we don't have to deal with some of the quote unquote, things they had to deal with when they was coming up. And then from that next level, to the next generation, like what are we doing for our kids? Okay, well now our kids are doing all kinds of shit, that we might not have been doing in our age. So every generation is
Hell
built
yeah.
upon the previous one. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? And
Yeah.
taking it to the next level and experiencing new things. So that's definitely real.
I mean, I think that works in terms of like finances. I think that works in terms of education. But when we get down to the nitty gritty of relationships and actually connecting
Mm.
as Black people and couples, the emotional or lack thereof, the emotional tools that our parents put our heads down. They didn't have time to deal with the emotions. They put
Yep.
their heads down. They got to the money. They got to the houses. They got to the education, and they put us. Rumor has what 20 grandkids, and 18 of us graduated college.
It's like
Like
26, I thought.
no, no, no.
Oh
Rumor has
no, I'm sorry, because when I said I'm counting both sides.
21.
Yeah,
yeah. Our
Ran side. Yeah, yeah,
our grandmother had her
21.
first kid when she was 18. She was in the projects. And out of her 20 grandkids, 18 of them have college degrees.
Right.
Most children have college degrees. There's master's degrees. Like in terms of education and finances, like we are doing better than our parents are doing for the most part. And that's there's something to say. But emotionally, they had to put their heads down and get to that point. And I think that we kind of struggle with we can't pass those emotional tools on to our kids because those don't suffice now. Our kids don't have to survive. Our kids need to learn how to heal themselves from the trauma that our parents and our grandparents dealt with, but we don't know how to address those issues
I want to
because
bring this back to the relationship part really quick, and
okay,
because we started this particular conversation with Kevin Samuels, and
right.
you hit on something else that I listened to one recently, and this one argument he was having with a young lady was the fact that women are independent and are doing for themselves, which in turn changes the dynamic
Absolutely.
from previous relationships between men and women is also one of the problems that we're dealing with in today's society. He told this one girl, if you want to know how a marriage works, talk to your grandmother.
Mm, because our grandmother was sleeping. No, they was sleeping under the rug so that they didn't have emotionally they weren't.
No, I'm
They
not
was,
saying it's right or wrong, but I do understand where things have changed,
I
right?
mean, yeah, but it's nobody's fault. It's nobody's fault that Black men are incarcerated at a higher level. So women had to do for
Right.
themselves.
Oh, it's somebody's fault.
Right.
It's nobody. It's not our fault. It's
Why?
not our
White
fault.
Right.
supremacy.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
right. What's the title of this podcast?
Colonialism and
Right.
capitalism.
There you go. Right.
Little
it's
CC.
it's not our fault that our men couldn't stay at home with our families and women had to be, independent. It's not our fault that Black women are the most highly educated, whatever, of college education. I don't know the exact terms. Like, it's not our fault. We had to do that. You can't be mad at us for doing what we had to do to
You're right
survive.
about that. You're right about
Yeah,
that.
and I think, and what one of the things that because I mean, y'all know me, I have a strong social media presence, and I always get into these conversations and things of that nature. And I've been called a simp. I've been called a bunch of other things because, like, I be agreeing with what a lot of what Khalea is saying, what a lot of women of the 20th, 21st century are saying in their role and how things have changed. Like, um, I liken it to a a, a a saying that I really really fucking like. I don't care how you killed a cow. I just want steak on the plate, and that's basically what Kalia is saying. Like the steak on the plate is our women are the most educated. Our women know how to hold down. They're independent and all that shit. We really can't worry about how the cow was killed at this point. You know what I'm saying? We're not about to go undo all of that shit and did it and do it how it was in the beginning. You feel what I'm saying? That would take so much more work than what I think a lot of women are saying, and that's just take what things are at right now and let's work from here. You know what I'm saying? Like
I feel
men
that.
have their gripe. Men have their gripe. And a lot of times what we hang on is our grandfathers did this. Our blase blip did this. But in the world, you gotta go for like how can we survive or do good going backwards? Like, yeah, we need to know how it was backwards. And we do need to say, hey, our grandfathers did it like this. That's what we have and what we need. That's what we're saying. And the women are saying, I see what your grandfathers did, and I raise you this. What we now need to do is meet here. And that's what neither side is really trying to do.
Right.
Men on the majority kind of wanted to go back the way that it was, where they were in control and women were shutting the fuck up and not saying anything. And women are saying, nah, motherfucker, you shut the fuck up because I got the money and the education and I can really just walk away from this conversation. And you the one at a loss because you're incarcerated, you're blase blip, you're this.
I think
So,
it's twofold. I think it's that what you're saying. Like for me, like I have my job, I have my house, I have my
mm-hmm,
car, I
mm-hmm.
have all these things. I don't really need anybody to provide anything for me. But I am low key traditional. Like I still want
Okay,
Yeah,
it.
I'm glad
because
you said that, yo, because I literally was about to go there with the conversation, and
Yeah.
go ahead.
But
you're
wait,
my sister, and I don't know how much you. Oh, go ahead. You
let me,
wanted to say something
let me
else?
get
Yeah,
my second
go ahead.
fold real quick.
Go ahead.
So on the one fold, like yeah, if but the problem is not that I don't need anybody, but I can be real humble. You take my paycheck. If you can be the head of household and I can give you my money and and my paycheck and my livelihood feels safe with you, you can have it all. Because at the end of the day, what's yours and mine and what's mine is yours. It don't matter if I go to work and you go to work. It don't matter if you bring home 50K and I bring home 100K. So collectively, we have what we have.
That's a
So
Right.
if you
fact.
want to be a steward of my finances, take my paycheck, take care of me. Even if I'm bringing home the bacon, I don't care because what's mine is yours and what's yours is mine.
That's a
But
fact.
there is it goes back to the second fold, which is the emotional. Men tie um their value with
Yep.
their capability to provide.
Yep.
And it's not your capability to provide. Your value is to me
Preach.
it's your
Preach.
value, your capability to keep me safe, protect, to run. If I make $400,000 a year and you make $50,000 a year, and you can keep me protected, and you can keep my bills paid, and you can run this household, it don't matter who's bringing home. But emotionally, men are in Black men lack emotional. I think it's emotional maturity, but it's rooted in emotional experience because your whole life, every time you touch an emotion, everybody told you, that doesn't hurt, man up. Oh, that girl broke your heart, man up. It's just 10 other girls out there. So y'all don't even really have the emotional experience and the emotional capacity to connect. I can't date a man that makes $50,000 if I'm making $100,000 because he already feels
It's not
at a
because of
loss.
her.
He already
It don't.
feels, yeah,
It's
he
not
feels like
because of
he can't
her.
come to the table. And I'm
It don't
telling
be
you,
because of her. Right.
yeah,
Yep.
I'm telling you, like, bruh, you don't have to make the money. You just have to make me feel like safe in what I'm doing. But they're so, well, I only make this. So emotionally, we can't even connect because you all
Okay.
find about what's about the money that you are or you're not making.
Let me say this because a lot of things that I say in terms of this conversation, I'm not experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
Right, my situation at the crib is solid, but being in this industry that I'm in terms of radio, the conversation that I have with callers on the radio, people that I interact with on a regular basis, this that, and the third. I hear everything you're saying, Khalea, and I think that is real for some women. But that dude that makes $50,000 a year and maybe is emotionally out of touch with being able to handle the fact that you make more goes back to what we said earlier when I was like, yo, growing up, forget about who he is as an adult, growing up, and forget about society, forget about other guys. Women are treating him like he's not shit because he doesn't make a certain amount of money.
Yeah,
That happens.
but that's something that's taught to us. It's a value
I mean,
that's
that's fine. I mean, I get it. There's backstories on everything, right? But I'm
Because
just
it's a
saying this.
little
Yeah,
CC.
it's not.
It's a little
But
CC.
what
That's why.
only point I'm making is that it's not just because guys are like man up, man up, man up. You have a certain number of experiences with women treating you a certain way because of what you have. Then that's how you
well, it's because
interact with women. Number one. Secondly, because we have this conversation all the time about women that are successful and don't need guys. And here's the only thing I was going to say about that. It was that there's really nothing wrong with you having what you have, and you know what I'm saying, you don't need financial support from a guy. But the flip side, and what's crazy to
So
me, is when these women call up and they're like, yo, I don't need a guy for anything. I'm independent. But on the flip side, they want to be treated traditionally. You know what I'm saying?
that's a little
It's
bit.
like I have what I have, and I'm gonna take out of your basket.
No,
That's what it's
it's a little bit delusional, but again, it's rooted. It's not even in. It's basically that we all subscribe to the concept that a man's value is his paycheck. Y'all
exactly
Capitalism.
are taught it, and we're
Capitalism.
taught it, and that's what
right.
it boils down to.
Exactly.
It's all rooted. It's all rooted back when, and maybe like we'll just say for sake of conversation, it's all rooted back in the baby boomers eras when America needed to be built, and it was an abundance of jobs and things to do in order to build America. There was no Wi-Fi, there was no internet, there were no railroads, there were no motherfucking buildings, there was no World Trade, there was no Sears Tower, there weren't any of those things. In 2021, we don't even have U.S. Steel. You feel what I'm saying? That ideal that we have that we're holding on to was a blip in time. You feel what I'm saying? I mentioned that earlier. That time was one of the most important was the most important thing that we have, and we have to understand it. We have to understand it from all forms, all facets. All right, that was a blip in time. That was a blip in time where men felt really, 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 really fucking good. You know what I mean? And like a lot of nostalgia, we talk about nostalgia tonight. I mean, I'm gonna tie it all in. You know what I'm saying? We talked about nostalgia tonight. Like nostalgia, like we said, it's like that fucking Wu Tang song. Can it be that it was all so simple? It was all so simple for us. It was seamless. It was thoughtless. We didn't have to think about it. We go home, we bring home the bacon, and she's there. She's making the home. She's doing this. She's doing that. That's because the way the whole world was then
At that time, right?
at that time. That's the way it was. And
The only point I was making in that last part of the conversation was that the issue that I have that I'm not dealing with, but that I have when we have these conversations is at that time period, because of the way things that were set up, like you just explained, women were taken care of because that's just the way society was at the time. Right. And I see all these women out here now that are like, I'm independent, I'm independent, I'm independent, I'm independent. And then they end the sentence with take care of me.
I
right.
You know
mean,
what I mean? And it's like, I'm, y'all throw, there's a lot of
But
mixed
listen,
messaging out there.
but listen. So we going through that at this point in time, and that's where men feel how they feel. You know what I mean, we want to go back to that. Basically what happened is that time is going on, and we can never gauge the things, the adjectives, the components, the variables that come in that change time. For us it was a lot. For black people it was a lot. And the thing that we can't do, and what Khalea is saying, what a lot of women are saying, what I get in a lot of arguments about, because I side with them and I agree with this, and I'm gonna tell you why I agree with this, is because I'm a basketball player and I played basketball at a high fucking level.
You was
And a
pretty good,
lot of
huh?
shit get written on the chalkboard before the game start. A lot of shit get written on the chalkboard. A lot of them. We know the motherfuckers' names. We know their numbers. We know what they like to do. A lot of shit get written on the chalkboard before the game start. But then you know what happens, Kyle?
The
you
game
didn't
Fucking the
has to be
game
played.
starts.
play the
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 game.
game
game
has to be
starts.
played. Yeah.
The
The
game
game has
starts.
to be played, right?
And you know what coach does at the 20-minute mark? And they say, all right, y'all go get some water. We're going to reconvene in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
He go back and he erased that shit he put on the fucking chalkboard in the beginning of the game, and he put some more shit up on the fucking chalkboard. Now, don't he? And that's what's happening. We're in an active game, and black people don't see it as that.
We're not making.
Understand, understandably so. A lot of the things that we've been alluding to this whole episode, when we talk about that CC, when
Yeah.
we talk about that colonialism, when we talk about that capitalism, the fact that what Khalea is saying, what she's saying, and that's that black men's emotions are rooted in their fucking paycheck or in their worth. That's a capitalistic fucking attribute that got added in later.
Yeah.
Like you said, how it used to be, you only a certain age. That ain't really how it used to be. That's how it used to be for you and for the vast majority of the people that inhabit the earth now. It's motherfuckers who was here before us that it probably wasn't like that for them. It wasn't always jobs. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
All I'm saying is that we got to treat this life thing as black people, as brown people, as people who are the disenfranchised, as people who are feeling the effects of all of this shit that this CC is giving us, of all of this shit that this fucking capitalism and that this colonialism is giving us. And we got to play this game actively. If we have to put our women in the forefront of the workforce and of the getting money for them to do what it is they need to do financially, because they have seen us, they saw us. Who was sitting there with nothing to do all day but make a home and take care of the kids? Who had to see when you worked, how you worked, so they can gauge their day and know what it is to supplement you when you come home? That's the thing that men.
That's older generations, though. That ain't this generation.
But that's where you want to go back to.
No, I'm not saying I want to go back there.
Not you, but that's the argument. You can't say that you.
No, I don't think that's not the argument that I'm making.
Not you. I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you. I want you to take yourself out of this and just see at its totality.
Right.
It's the streets.
In its totality, right?
It's the street. This is what the streets are saying. I know you can take the situation and make it nuanced. That's why you got a short microphone in front of you. That's why I got one in front of me.
Yeah, exactly.
The average nigga don't got a microphone or nothing in front of him, and he's just saying a bunch of shit. So I'm talking about that. I know you can nuance your situation.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? But overall, what we got is men wanted to go back to when women shut up and be quiet, and they just made homes, and women saying, no, not that. And they don't know the nuance of why that was happening back then. We're now holding up our end of the bargain of why that was happening back then. Even if granddad had another family, he wasn't dibbling and dabbling in the other family. The other family was left astray on the other side. Listen, real seriously, that's why we have the broken families we have now.
Oh, I got a whole I mean, that's a whole nother conversation for sure.
But the female the woman who benefited from the male going home and providing, you know what I mean? That's only 50% of a coin. Men not doing that. Men want to come over here with this family. They want to do that. They still want to mess with this girl because they like that girl. They want to dibble and dabble with both families. They want to leave this house when they're not feeling her. Granddad wasn't doing that. He wasn't doing that.
All I'm gonna say is this.
All at the same time, let me finish. Let me wrap my point up. Because what Khalea is basically saying is, just to finish it off, because I didn't lose my point.
Go ahead.
All of these are roles. Just put all of this shit up there on the board as roles. None of these roles have occupancy at all. These are just roles that we know that get the fucking job done. When the game started and the opposition took the court with us, they started fucking us up.
Facts. Jim
Crow, mass incarceration.
Facts.
Cradle to prison, cradle to incarceration, prison, all that cool shit.
Prison to school to prison pipeline, yeah.
All
that
shit changed the role of what's happening on. So when you mention and when you look it up right now, in that lead role, in the Chris Paul role, in the LeBron role, in the Kevin Durant role, are women, are black women. And all they're saying is, we cool playing this role. When I walk in that house, just make sure I feel safe in there.
Right. Don't fight me to be point guard. Just pick another position.
Just pick a position, and niggas not doing that. Niggas want to be LeBron, Kevin Durant, and all the girl is saying like, look. I don't dictate the game. You don't go into the draft and pick who you go to. The draft pick you. This is the position I've been drafted in. Help me out. Be fucking Draymond. Be fucking Tony Allen. Be Joakim Noah. Be Andre Drummond.
Don't fight me.
No, niggas want to be LeBron. And it ain't helping the team.
I get it.
The team going down.
I get it. I get it. And I understand that point of view. And if that's the case, then cool. The majority of the stuff that I see, that ain't how I see it. Like,
right.
I just see so much. I see a whole bunch of other. I see fuckery. I see a bunch of fuckery out here.
Right, we all do.
We've been educated under the same system. So men are taught this and women are taught this. You know what I mean? Like we've all been educated under the same system. It
Right.
takes all my 30 something friends who are all mid 30s and still single to really have these conversations about what's happening. Like I've done XYZ, whatever, whatever. I don't even care about house, money, cars, but the lack of emotional connection that's not there, because once again, men have been taught that their value is rooted in their finances,
And that's
and
not real.
we've broken away from that to a certain degree. Obviously, everybody wants to be taken care of. You know what I mean? Like I said, I can do for myself. I don't want to do for myself, but I can, and I will. But I will also do for my partner if there's some other connection there. But if your only value is tied to your finances, I can't even connect with you. I
I get
literally
it.
connect.
I'll say this on that, and
Hmm.
I'll say this on that because there is some emotional discourse there that needs to be discussed, right?
There's
I
I
understand
know.
that,
there's a
but
lot of emotional trauma that
I'll
needs.
say, but I'm gonna say this. Throughout my relationship and my marriage, there's been ups and downs. When I first got with Shonda, she had a full time job, and I was living off when am I going to get my college refund check, right?
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. So I've been through that.
Real
But I
shit.
will also say this: I worked at that last radio station for 15 years. I was unemployed for 6 months, and then so I got into the situation I'm at right now. I think it's in our nature, regardless of how we relate to men, or men relate to women. Just as a man, that 6 months that I was unemployed was the worst time of my life, in
Because you
my
tied your
opinion.
value to your
Because
ability to provide.
Right.
exactly, but I don't honestly, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think a guy that doesn't have a will to provide, you know what I'm saying? Like I
Provide and
do
not
think
just
I do think it's a problem if it how you handle it and how it can bleed into your relationships, right? But I think at our core, we have to have something that drives us to go work, get the job done, bring home the bacon, this, that, and the third. Now, that being said, if I make, you know, $40,000 a year and my wife makes $60,000 a year, that should not be an issue.
Yeah,
But I
but
think too many niggas is comfortable not getting the job done, not going to get the paycheck, sleeping on couches, you know what I'm saying? Just scratching this survive. You're like, no, fuck that, man. You gotta
the
have.
problem
I feel
is,
like you have to have a drive about yourself to go out there, and even if it's not for a woman in a relationship, you should want to go out there and make it happen for yourself. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
if you're not doing that, I think there's something wrong. You have to have that drive.
the problem is when your ability to provide is the sole tenet of your relationship.
It's a, no, or when you value who you are as a person on it.
Yeah, that's the sole tenet of your being, the sole tenet of I ain't got no job, I can't be in this relationship no more. Like, is that all you're bringing to the table?
yeah.
And
Right.
But
So look,
I
so
get that, but I can understand like why a dude would feel that way.
so I think this is a subject that I've wrestled with a lot in my last in the last decade, I'll say. I mean, everybody knows my fucking my journey just from me being and going out to Cali for 3 years. A lot what a lot of people don't know about that journey is that I've had a significant other that whole time, this whole time. You know what I mean?
shout out
And
to her.
right. And in that time when it was the 2013s and the 2014s and I was uptown Tone and I was trying to find myself, like I was that guy on the couch. But she taught me that this basically what Khalea is saying is that, and I get what you're saying, Kyle. It's easy. That's the low hanging fruit, though. Like to say that I'm a provider. Yes, we are men as we are providers, but I think that what we allow again, and I'm going to keep saying it up. We can call this episode this is the CC is the colonialism and the capitalism to
Right.
allow you to believe is that the only way that you can provide is to go home and bring a paycheck monetarily. What I was taught and what court taught me was that it's so much that you bring to the table. First of all, when I come in here, I'm a woman. If you look at everything that we just talked about with Micaiah Bryant, you look at everything that we were about to get into with Deshaun Watson, what have you, you talk about the R. Kellys of the world, of all of that. The simple fact that you come in here and you bring your presence and you hold me in your life, how you hold me, and you come in here and you make sure that you in this door every night, you make sure that you on this side of the door every night and that that door is locked. I feel safe in that. That's providing. The simple fact that you learn different skills when shit goes down in here, when the fucking sink goes down, when the fucking this happens, when that happens. You may not be a master fucking builder, but the simple fact that you can take that off my plate and off my mind and you can handle that, you're providing. The simple fact that you can come in and you can learn a simple skill is cooking or something like that. If I am to be the breadwinner, if I am to go out there and work these hours and bring this fucking money home, then if I can be the one to come home to a meal, a nice cooked meal, whatever it may be, it don't have to be the fanciest meal, it don't have to be anything. It has to be something so that I don't have to expunge more energy after I done use the brunt of my energy to bring this check home. That's providing. And I think that that's what women are saying. When we talk about providing, it is strictly dollars and cents. And we just talked about the cradle to prison pipeline. We just talked about all this other stuff. If we have all of these fucking obstacles, fucking getting in between us and actually providing dollars and cents, but we have a black woman on our side that's willing to go through us, that doesn't have to go through all of that shit to get the dollars and cents, then why wouldn't you fucking on the other hand flip roles of what capitalism and fucking colonialism taught you were women's roles and just pick up them fucking roles? I got kids now. I've changed diapers. I've been the sole primary. Like that's providing. And I think we as men don't understand, or women, and I'm not going to put it all on us. Women also don't know how to articulate and tell us this. Part of it is because of our hypersensitivity. When they tell us this, we're going to say, oh, you want me to be the woman, or you want me to be. We can't pick and choose when we want to go in and out of colonialism and capitalism. We got to pick a fucking side and stay there. I've been doing this. That's why I sound crazy. That's why I'm uptown tone. That's why who I am. I don't stand for colonialism at any point. Even when women have to pull my coattail and say, hey, if you do that, you're fucking operating in colonialism and capitalism. And then when I go by myself and I do the fucking math and I say fucking, yeah, if I do that, I'm going to be operating in colonialism and capitalism. Guess what Uptown Tone don't do? Go operate in colonialism and capitalism. I got to take my role whatever it was. If Monday I was LeBron and I put up 40 and I was just alarmed that I'm have to be Robert Ory and sit the bench and watch and cheer for a little bit and come in when my number is called, then that's what the fuck it is. Because it's for the team, not me.
I get all that, and I don't disagree with any of that. I guess the part that I struggle with is whether or not this is actual colonialism and capitalism,
It
or
is.
Oh, it is.
hold
sure
on,
it is.
hold on. It could. I'm not saying it absolutely is or isn't.
I'm
But
telling you
what
what
I
absolutely is.
struggle with is is whether or not how I feel something that's taught or is this in me. For instance, everything that you said for that 6 months period that we talked about where I was out of work, I did all of those things, dog. Going to the park with the kids, you know what I mean, cooking dinner, doing all of the things. Like I'm still father at the end of the day. I'm always gonna make sure my kids are
Eat a lot
cool.
of spaghetti, huh?
I was making up all kinds of crazy dishes. Shit, ain't no recipe. Throw that shit in the pot. Let's get it popping. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, right. So I'm doing it. So I agree. Like if we're in that role, we have to take on that role, and we have to take on that role to our fullest ability. All that being said, I'm still like, I can't wait till this is over. You know
That's
what I'm saying?
cool. But
It's
that's
just, it's
cool.
just like, and
But do you
I
have
get it.
it's all of your monetary of art. This is the only question I got for you because like I was
I
just
don't.
saying, everything
Go
I
ahead.
just explained, that
Yeah.
was me in 2020 and 2013, 2015. And me now in 2021, I'm in the same role that you're in. I pay all the bills. I do everything that every woman is saying that they're asking for.
But let me say this really quick though,
Go
and
ahead.
I don't. But the only thing that I kind of disagree with is whether or not it was a monetary thing. For me, it was more of a lifestyle thing. This is not what I want to. I do like doing these things for my family and with my family, but this is part of what I want to do. I can't do this 100% of the time, all the time. I can't. I need to get back
Right.
to what it is that I'm trying to do.
That's a
You know what I
fact.
mean? So that's the part for me. And it's not tied to money, it's tied to,
You
huh?
also you also have a passion. You also
Mhm.
have
Passion, right?
so
This is not my passion. I
yeah,
can do this and I'm always going to make sure the family is straight, but I have a passion to get this shit done over here. And if I'm not chasing this, I'm feeling like I'm not doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. That's
That's
the
a
best way to
fact.
put it.
All
Yeah.
I'm saying is this: I'm in the same role as I sit here as we sit here side by side on the screen. I'm in the same role as you are in right now. I'm in the same role that women ask for on social media all the time. I want the man to pay all the bills. Court didn't ask for this. I just told you Court's role when I first met her. The
Right.
game put us here. The game put us here. What I'm saying to you is this: the position that you in right now, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful in any way, is not dependent upon you. The game dictate that. The game just going the way you want the game to go right now.
Right.
You feel what I'm
I feel
saying?
that. Yeah, but no, because to your point, like I said in the beginning, if we using the game as the analogy, when I came into the game, nigga, I was coming off the bench.
Exactly. Exactly. But you gotta go with the game. Like you gotta go with the game. You can't get bigger than the game. And that's just what I understand. Like this is my role in the game right now. Some freak shit can happen tomorrow, and my role in the game change, and we gotta go back to that fucking
I agree with
chalkboard
that
that I speak of
100%.
tomorrow. You know what I'm
I agree
saying?
with that
So
100%.
and I think that I know we get it as us three because we chop up game. We just chopped it up real good.
Yeah.
And this is real good shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I also this is like I've been saying, this is the streets is watching. So I'm hoping people who don't understand it from our level, who haven't seen it or chopped it down from all three sides, like you got it from here, like you got it from us. I'm hoping that y'all can pick up something from here and just see so y'all can play the game a little bit better. Like your opponent is not that woman or is not that man
Right.
that you go and you lay your head
That
with
is a
every night.
fact. That
Y'all
is a
got to come up
fact.
with affordable game plan to go attack that world every day, and
I
that's what
agree
it's
with that.
about. And that's what women like Khalea are saying. That's what men like Kyle are saying. That's what men like me are saying. We all have different avenues of getting there. We gotta put this shit on the chalkboard. We can't yell it at each other. We gotta
If
put it on the chalkboard and see what fits, see what stays.
if
That's all.
I agree 100%.
why do you want to make her stay at home? Why would you make me stay at home so you can make $60,000?
Right.
That doesn't make any
just
sense.
just in that
I
vein right
agree.
now, like court is dying to get out, and I can't wait. So we get our game plan. All right, well, look, we're not just about to go out there crazy. Whenever it come and whenever we find that little opportunity, we gonna have our game plan ready. That you gonna attack their ass, and
Right.
then I
No
can fall
question.
back. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm a basketball player, so I'm looking at it like that. Like fuck it, I can't wait for a game where I can put up 12 assists and not 30 points. 30 points get fucking tiring after a while. Like damn, like, you need another 30.
Yo,
Shit, like
to your
god
point, who you
damn,
telling,
like
bro? I've been
yeah.
encouraging
So
Sean. I've been encouraging Sean to like, so you ready to get this full-time job? You ready to, yeah, I mean,
yeah,
like,
yeah. And not even in jobs, but with her strengths, with her dreams, with her aspirations, with just her everything on a day to day, whatever it is that she feels like she needs to exude. Like I want her to feel like she needs to exude that shit, man,
Like,
because that
facts,
shit helps me. Like,
circles
facts.
back to having the emotional maturity to
yeah,
allow your
and that's
woman.
big.
I,
Real
Yes.
big.
I have friends. I have a friend couple. They're like my favorite friend couple. The girl is 100% the breadwinner. He has he works at the bank. He probably makes $80,000, but she is getting up at 5 a.m. She is their breadwinner. But at the end of the day, he is the head of household. None of the roles are really
Right,
outside of the traditional roles, aside from the
right,
fact that he makes more money than him. At the end of the day, when they talk about their finances, when they talk about their budget, she doesn't say, well, I make XYZ over you, so I get to call the shots. No, like that's a
no,
man. She lets her husband be her husband and be the head of household and be the leader of their family. And I think that people got to stop equating being a leader with making the money.
right.
Fact. And I
All
think
of
And
the
that's
they're my
right,
favorite
and
Kyle.
couple. He makes
And that
all of the money, but at the end of the day, he's the leader.
that's
I feel you on
not to
that,
cut
and
you
I think you're right
not
on
to
that.
cut you off, not to cut you off, Kyle, but that's what I was going to kind of say earlier to not that you was taking it personal, but you not saying a lot of the shit that you do. Like you not like you hanging on the
What you mean?
financial shit, and that's cool, but you like do a whole you a leader. You're a leader in the sense that Khalea is talking about.
Yeah,
No,
And
I
I
feel
think
that,
that
and again, if
men
you
need
were,
to know that too.
you're
You
yeah,
know what I
right,
mean?
and to the point that I was making, though, if you remember earlier in the conversation, I said my situation is solid,
Yeah.
but when we're talking about what's happening in today's society, I'm not seeing that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And to your
Fact.
point, clear to the example that you just gave, that's what's up. Because you know what I'm seeing? When you and just like you said, the man he's willing to be able to still be who he is with his wife making that money, and
they don't
he's not
feel no
tripping
type
on it.
of way about
You
money.
also said his wife is not tripping either.
Right.
And
that's
what I was going to earlier, I see these chicks out here, they not having that shit.
yeah, they also lack they were taught in the same school.
Right.
They
Yeah, exactly. So
lack
we
the
all on the same page.
Yeah, we definitely on the same page.
Everybody is taught that their value is tied to their money. So women are out here like, I make $150,000. What can you do for me? I'm more valuable.
Exactly.
And men are like, well, I only make $50,000, so I'm not valuable. And everybody's value is tied to their finances. With their situation, she brings what she brings to the table. He brings what he brings to the table. But their value is not tied to their finances. Their value is tied to their intrinsic value as a human being. And we're not focusing on that. And that again comes back to emotional maturity. I could walk up to a man, I don't even know how much money I make a year, but I could walk up to a man today that makes $60,000 and he's going to feel emotionally some type of way if I make more money. And I could tell you like, bro, you can be a leader. If you know how to do X, Y, and Z, it's not about the money that I'm putting to the table. But you're so tied to outperforming and fighting me for this financial position that we can't even connect. Like you can't be a leader if you're fighting me for my spot.
Right.
Facts.
It's not because this our spot. Like this just the role. Like it's like you playing defense on fucking Chris Paul and you Devin Booker. Like it looked fucking goofy as shit. Like what are you doing? Like
8 chairs at this table. Why you want to sit in my
yeah, like you're wild. Like that's that
And
that's the one that's going to do anything for you. Like that ain't the one to fucking play defense. That's the last person to play defense on.
I think that's the perfect point for us to wrap this up.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's perfect. I mean, Khalea's here. Let's give you the last say. Like, you know what I'm saying?
The pressure.
Yeah, the pressure. That's right. That's right. You're the first female guest on Streets is Talking. You know what I mean? You made some great points tonight. You're my sister, your Tone's cousin, you know. Last words from you before we close this thing out.
Oh man.
Uh-huh.
Oh, this is so deep.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is.
I needed more time to prepare.
No, ain't no time. You on the spot.
She on the Budweiser hot seat.
Right. I don't know. Communicate. Talk. Black people talk to each other. Yeah. Don't just say what you think they want to hear. Say what you mean. Say what you feel.
Okay, Oprah.
You get a car. You get a car. You get a car.
All right, man. We out of here, yo. Streets is Talking on and popping. Once again, Khalea, let them know how they can follow you or stay in contact with what you got going on.
Khalea, Coolea, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Not TikTok. TikTok is not Khalea. But I only got one video up on TikTok and it's terrible. It hurt.
Tone.
Uptown Tone on everything. You already know what it is, man. COVID Chronicles podcast. Oh, I gotta keep saying the whole thing, man, because it's 17 COVID Chronicles podcasts. Yeah, Uptown Tone presents COVID Chronicles with OGEs. 444 podcast, Instagram, Twitter. You already know, holla at me. And just my last thoughts is just men just be a little bit more sensitive, man. Be a little bit more open. Get your ego out the way so that your mind can work. A lot of us have really great minds, and we need that ego to get out the way so the mind can work, man. So that's all I would say. I can't speak to the women. I don't want to speak to the women and tell them what to do. It's not the time to be doing that, and I don't have any suggestions. But since I'm a man, I'll speak to them.
All right. And last thing I'll say as it pertains to this conversation, man, if we can get materialism out the way, a lot of these other problems will go away as well. On both sides. You know what I mean? That's what it really comes down to. We get that materialism out the way. You know what I'm saying? Because I think
another conversation of itself we won't get into, but that you hit it on the fucking money with that one, cuz.
That's it right there. Get that shit out the way. Everything else will fall in place.
You
follow me on the gram, Twitter, Instagram, and all that at Radio King Kyle. Streets is Talking. Until next time. Peace.
Love y'all.
Love you too.
Streets is not only watching, but they talking now.